continuing marriage of panache, performance, and price allows us to overlook minor design flaws and once again bestow the Dell XPS 13 with our Best in Class award. Once again, the Dell XPS 13 is TechRadar's best laptop to date, earning our Best in Class award for the third year running. Why? Because Dell managed to improve on its winning design in two of the most key areas, performance and battery life. You see, this version of the XPS 13 lasts around 30% longer on a charge than the previous generation and blew away its own records in performance benchmarks, thanks to brand new, 8th generation Intel Core processors. That said, Dell has yet to address some minor flaws in its design, namely its webcam and speaker placement. However, despite these minor bugbears, we're left enamored by one of the best looking and feeling laptops we've tested to date, married with impeccable performance for reasonable price. Just like last year, the Dell XPS 13 starts at the arguably reasonable price of $799 in the US, with 4 different configurations available, starting with an Full HD Infinity Edge display paired with an 8th generation Intel Core i3 processor, 4GB of RAM and a 128GB solid-state drive, SSD, and capping out with a QHD Plus, 3200x1800, touchscreen backed by an Intel Core i7 processor, 16GB of RAM and a 256GB SSD for $1,749. The configuration we've tested here costs $1,299, £1,268.99 or $2.299. Pricier configurations include Windows Hello through a fingerprint sensor. In the UK, however, prices begin at £1,118.99 with a whopping 11 different configurations, starting with a 7th generation Core i7 processor behind an FHD display as well as 8GB of RAM and a 256GB SSD. The top end sees the XPS 13 with a QHD and touchscreen backed by an 8th generation Intel Core i7 processor as well as 16GB of RAM and a 1TB SSD for a cool £1,818.98. In the UK, you can also get several configurations preloaded with Ubuntu Linux instead of Windows 10. Finally, the Australian model starts at $799 for a 7th generation Intel Core i5 processor behind an FHD panel and with 8GB of RAM and a 256GB SSD. At the highest end of its huge 10 configurations in the region, the XPS 13 costs $2,399 for a QHD and display powered by an 8th generation Intel Core i7 processor with 16GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD. The rose gold colored model costs an